Welcome back to Minneapolis and the NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. Let's bring you up to speed on what happened in the first 2 days of competition. Day 1, Florida's Nicole Hazlett, winner of 3 gold medals in Barcelona, prepared for the 200-yard individual medley. She would be challenged by 2 of the Stanford stars, fellow Olympian Lee Lovelace and Janelle Jorgensen, a 10-time NCAA champion. Now let's pick up the call on the final laps of the race. Nicole Hazlett in the blue cap in lane 4, making her move and gaining now on Lee Lovelace.
This is exactly the position that Nicole wants to be in. She knows she has a good breaststroke. She takes the lead now, and she has a good freestyle to bring it back home. Now the real race is going to be between the rest of the Stanford swimmers, Janelle Jorgensen and Lee Lovelace, also Mary Ellen Blanchard, but it's going to come down to the end, and it looks like Nicole has a lot left to bring it in.
Hazlett finished second in this race last year to Summer Sanders, who set the NCAA record, and here she comes.
She's excited. You can see by her feet. She knows exactly where she is. She's going to bring this one home for a win.
And it is Nicole Hazlett of Florida with a time of 1:57.15, the 200-yard IM champion.
Now, although Stanford didn't win, they came up with some big points, getting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in this race.
Up next, the 50-yard freestyle, the fastest race in this competition. Last year's champion, Jenny Thompson of Stanford, was the favorite to win and defend her title. But swimming right next to Jenny would be Rochelle DePold, a freshman from UCLA, who beat Thompson twice this season. Lane 1 at the top of your screen, Jenny Thompson in lane 4 in the white cap. In lane 5 is Rochelle DePold.
Now, important in this race is the start, the turn, and the finish. You've got to be quick all the way through. If you notice Jenny Thompson's arm speed and her kick, she's taking command of this race right from the beginning. And Andrea, this domination just proves that Jenny Thompson is one of the top sprinters in the world today. And I know Jenny, she's happy with that one.
All right, Jenny Thompson with her 2nd consecutive 50-yard freestyle championship. Day 2, the 200-yard freestyle featured a great rivalry. Nicole Hazlett of Florida was back to defend her title she won a year ago. But a lot has happened to Nicole since last spring. She went to Barcelona, a college student, and came home an Olympic champion. 3 gold medals, more than any other American. Her rival in Barcelona and here in Minneapolis was Stanford's Jenny Thompson, the current world record holder in the 100-meter free. Thompson vowed to give Hazlett a run for this title. We pick it up with the last half of the race. Jenny Thompson in the white cap with a slim lead on Nicole Hazlett.
Now, this race is strategy. Nicole Hazlett is staying right with her. Nicole is a better back half of the race swimmer. That means she goes out a little bit slower and then brings it back a little bit faster.
They are neck and neck, Thompson and Hazlett.
What they're thinking right now is they're feeding off of each other. They swim next to each other all the time. They know how each other paces their races. As you can tell, they're looking at each other. They're watching to see when the other person is going to make their move.
Hazlett to the wall first.
They're both starting to increase their kick now, and Nicole is starting to pull ahead. This is where Nicole knows that she has to take control of the race.
Hazlett turning it on in the final yards of this race, and it is Hazlett to the wall first, 1:43.98.
You know, these rivalries make the race so much more exciting and push the swimmers to go faster.
Exciting for the spectators, maybe a little nerve-wracking, though, for the swimmers in the pool. The 100-yard breaststroke featured none of the U.S. Olympic team stars, but all eyes would soon turn to Laura Hoiveld of Michigan, an Australian Olympian in 1988. Laura Hoiveld in the yellow cap didn't even make the finals of this event a year ago.
Laura looks in control. She's just bringing it in.
And that's Hoiveld to the wall, the winner, and we have a new U.S. Open and NCAA record, 1:00.47. Well, looking to rack up some team points, Stanford had 3 swimmers in the 100-yard backstroke, including defending champion Lee Lovelace. She would be pushed by her former Olympic teammate, Janie Wagstaff, now a freshman at Florida.
Ladies, 100-yard backstroke. Take your mark.
Lane 1 at the top of your screen, Lee Lovelace of Stanford in lane 4 with the lead, Janie Wagstaff in lane 5.
Because this is a shorter race, the swimmers want to have strong turns. They want to use their kick off the wall, and that's where Lee Lovelace gains much of her ground.
Lee Lovelace, the bronze medalist in the 100-meter backstroke at the Olympics. Janie finished 5th in that event.
Look at Lee Lovelace's turnover. As she comes up here, her arms are moving much faster than the rest of the field. Also over in lane 2, moving up, is Mary Edwards from Stanford.
Lovelace increasing her lead. She's to the wall first in this final leg.
Notice again how strong Lee Lovelace's turns are. Also, Janie Wagstaff, she won't be able to catch Lee, but she might be able to get in there for second place.
And Lovelace will go in easily for the win. And what a race for second place. Janie Wagstaff comes up with enough for second.
This has to be satisfying for Lee Lovelace, who used to get beat regularly by Janie Wagstaff. But Janie knows she still has 3 more years in college to bring back her domination.
Well, Stanford continued to dominate, and in the diving competition, Eileen Riccatelli combined consistency and poise to win her 2nd consecutive 3-meter springboard title. Two-thirds of the way through this championship, and Stanford has a commanding lead, but the real race is for second place. Now, Stanford racked up all of those big points with so many top 3 finishes in summer. That's the depth that you talked about earlier.
Exactly. A team can't just win a championship by winning all the races. They have to include the top 8, the top 16 as well.
Set, go.
5 down, 1 to go, go Stanford!
So the Florida swimmers now have their sights on second place, and that means they have to beat Texas. And while the Gators contemplate that, the Longhorns are across the pool getting revved up now by Coach Jill Sturkle. Well, you need a little bit of encouragement when you're about to swim 66 lengths of the pool. This is the 1650-yard freestyle. The lanes to watch: Florida's Mimosa McNerney in lane 4, Toby Smith of Texas in lane 5. Now, Summer, this is really the marathon. What is the key for these swimmers?
Because it's such a long race, these swimmers have to get into a rhythm. They want to start out with their arms moving fast, as you can see Mimosa McNerney starting in lane 4. And they don't want much of a kick. They want to just sort of drag their feet. They want to save their energy for the end of the race.
Texas would like a big finish from Toby Smith. First-year coach Jill Sturkle says her team's ready to chase down Florida.
We've talked about, obviously reestablishing our goals and going after a number 2 finish here, trying to zero in and focus on beating Florida tonight. And, it's just going to be a matter of probably who wants it the most, getting in there and racing as hard as they can.
But that's Florida's Mimosa McNerney with the early lead.
Mimosa looks strong and smooth at this point, but this race is so long, and it's going to take more than just her in the water. Her teammates and her have been working out together all year long for this meet, as has Toby Smith, and they are going to need some support from their teammates on the side.
And we'll be back with the conclusion of the 1650 freestyle in a moment. Back in Minneapolis, a lot at stake for Florida coach Mitch Ivey and for Jill Sturkle and the Longhorns of Texas. They are locked in a battle for second in the team competition, both anxious for a win in this 1650-yard freestyle race, and that is Toby Smith of Texas with the lead in lane 5, followed by Florida's Mimosa McNerney in lane 4.
Now, these girls have been swimming against each other since they were very little. Mimosa has had a problem with swimming against Toby. She feels a little intimidated. But as you can see, Mimosa is gaining a little bit on Toby here in the final laps.
These are the final 2 laps in this marathon of swimming events.
Mimosa just gained so much on that turn. I don't understand where it came from. Usually at the end of your 1650, you're dead tired. You don't have any more energy, and Mimosa seems to be gaining on Toby.
Final lap. Look at Mimosa McNerney pour it on. What a kick.
Toby's not looking at her. I don't know if Toby sees her, but Mimosa has passed her. Mimosa is going to win this race in the last 2 laps.
And what a finish by McNerney. She comes from behind for a stunning victory. She is very pleased with that performance, as is her coach, Mitch Ivey. But boy, what a tough race to lose for Toby Smith. Now let's go down to Greg Louganis with the winner. Greg?
Mimosa, you really came out strong in the last lap. Where did it come from?
I don't know. I have no clue. I was really disappointed with my 500 on Thursday night, and I had one more chance to win, and it was right there. It was right there, and I just kicked it all that I had, all that I worked for this season, just had to go into that last lap, and it did.
Toby Smith still in the pool thinking about this one as she finishes second to Mimosa McNerney in an unbelievable race. Florida is now in second place in the team standings. We are just about set for the 200-yard backstroke. The big 3 well represented. Stanford with Lee Lovelace. Texas, Whitney Hedgepeth, the defending champion from last year, hoping to pick up big team points for the Longhorns. She will also have to contend with Florida's Janie Wagstaff. Now, she might have been disappointed with her second-place finish in the 100-yard back, but Coach Mitch Ivey is pleased.
As a freshman, it's a learning experience, and we look forward to a great performance tonight. She's doubling the 200 back, 200 fly, and I think she'll be a factor in both races.
Janie had a difficult summer. She dominated the backstroke events at the Olympic trials and didn't have the Olympics that she wanted to. But I think the team atmosphere here has really had a positive effect on her swimming.
Place your feet.
Whitney Hedgepeth holds the NCAA meet record in this event.
Your mark.
A reminder, lane 1 is at the top of your screen, lane 8 at the bottom. Lee Lovelace in lane 4 for Stanford, Whitney Hedgepeth in lane 5, Janie Wagstaff in lane 7.
Now, Lee Lovelace and Whitney Hedgepeth have a slight advantage over Janie Wagstaff in lane 7 because they're able to see the rest of the field being in the middle of the pool. But I don't think Janie Wagstaff's going to let that bother her. She knows that her teammates are pulling for her, and she's going to have to come up with a 2nd or 3rd place to gain the points for her team.
It's Lovelace with the lead. She finished 2nd in this event last year, looking strong here now.
Yes, I think she's looking for a little revenge. She's always been known for the person who goes out too fast and dies at the end. She's been working on this in practice, and I think she's going to have a good 200 backstroke race here. As you can tell with the underwater camera, you get a closer view of her turn. You don't have to touch the wall anymore. They changed this rule last year, and it makes the turns faster and more important in these backstroke races.
And that is Lee Lovelace of Stanford with the lead. Whitney Hedgepeth of Texas currently in 2nd place.
Janie Wagstaff, also in lane 7, seems to be moving up. She looks very strong as well, but Lee Lovelace is taking command of this race. Notice her kick. Lee still has those legs, and that's very important at the end of this 200 backstroke. 8 laps is a long way for these individual races.
Lee Lovelace with the commanding lead in this 200-yard backstroke.
Now she knows that no one is going to be able to catch her at this point. She's just trying to cruise in and get a good time.
And the race now is for 2nd place between Whitney Hedgepeth in lane 5 and Janie Wagstaff in lane 7.
And it looks like Whitney Hedgepeth has a little edge over Janie coming underneath the flags.
And she does. It's Whitney Hedgepeth for 2nd, Janie Wagstaff in 3rd, but Lee Lovelace beats them all in the 200-yard backstroke.
You can see here in Janie's stroke that she's getting very tired, and she's starting to rely on her muscles and power too much instead of trusting her natural rhythm. That's always been Janie's key in success in backstroke, and it's always made her stroke very smooth.
Well, the winner, Lee Lovelace, still in the pool with last year's 200 back champion. Whitney Hedgepeth may be deciding who should win next year. Lovelace becoming a star at these championships with 2 victories now. Last year, it was a summer star that was shining brightest at this event, especially when she showed a new side of her talents. Well, that was the last time Summer Sanders took a dive. Everything since has been gold or silver or bronze. 4 Olympic medals in Barcelona opened up all kinds of business opportunities. But that made the NCAA rule her ineligible for collegiate competition.
But I do think it's an absolute crime that an athlete like Summer Sanders has to give up her collegiate eligibility because of professional opportunity in another area besides swimming. It's not as if she's swimming for money.
Well, last year's Swimmer of the Year is now vying for the title of Broadcaster of the Year. Summer, without you in the competition, it seems like it's wide open. Who do you think is going to take that honor, Swimmer of the Year?
Well, a lot is going to depend on the performances today. Nicole Hazlett has already won 2 events. Janelle Jorgensen, Jenny Thompson have won 1 and gotten second in the other. Then there's Laura Hoiveld from Michigan, the only one to set a record in the meet. The 100-yard freestyle is going to be the key race in deciding who wins the NCAA Swimmer of the Year.
And there's Jenny Thompson, the defending champion and favorite in this race. Swimming right alongside her will be Nicole Hazlett of Florida. And Summer, this is one of the great rivalries that you talked about earlier.
Yeah, they made a big deal about this at the Olympics. It's a shorter race, so Jenny definitely has the edge because she's a sprinter. But Nicole's very tough at the end, like always.
It'll be Thompson in lane 4, Hazlett in lane 5. Jenny Thompson, the record holder in this event.
Jenny Thompson on the left and Nicole on the right. Jenny Thompson looks very strong here in the beginning. She's moving up quickly, and that's the key. You never want to get too far behind in these 100-yard races.
Jenny Thompson in the white cap, Hazlett in the blue cap, hanging close with Thompson.
Nicole's in a perfect position. She's right behind Jenny, close to the lane line, so she's actually catching a little bit of Jenny's wave. Jenny could be pulling her along, but Jenny Thompson looks in control of this race. Also over in lane 2, Rochelle DePold is out there too, but she is much more of a spinner than these other 2. Nicole is going to bring it back in this last half, and if she's going to make a move, it has to be right now. But it doesn't look like she can. Jenny Thompson is much too powerful.
Thompson hanging on to the lead, and she's to the wall first. Jenny Thompson, 48.03. Nicole Hazlett finishes second for the 2nd year in a row. More importantly, though, Nicole Hazlett picks up some important team points for Florida as they battle Texas for 2nd place. There are your standings. Thompson, Hazlett, and Gita Jensen of SMU. Let's send it down to Greg Louganis with Nicole Hazlett.
Yeah, right now we're battling for 2nd with Texas, and every point is as valuable as any other. So we had a great swim, a couple mile and stuff, and everyone's really excited. Hopefully we'll have a good relay.
Back at the NCAA Swimming and Diving Championships in Minneapolis, Texas and Florida still battling it out for 2nd place. Let's send it over to Greg Louganis.
Andrew, we have a real story going on here in women's platform. Eileen Riccatelli, who I thought would be running away with this competition, is 35 points in the hole. As far as the team standings, the fight between 2nd and 3rd, Texas has 3 competitors in the competition, and Florida has none.
Florida also has no swimmers in this 200-yard breaststroke, while Texas has 2. Lydia Morrow on the left, Christy Busico on the right. And keep your eye on lane 2, Laura Hoiveld of Michigan, winner of the 100-yard breaststroke.
Between the diving and this race, Texas really has an advantage, and there's a lot of pressure on Lydia Morrow and Christy Busico from Texas to place in the top 2, top 3 in this event.
Lydia Morrow looking strong in lane 3.
If you look at the qualifying times going into this race, they're all very even, so it should be a very close and exciting race.
Laura Hoiveld near the top of your screen in lane 2. Lydia Morrow of Texas in lane 3. Christy Busico, also of Texas, in lane 4.
Lydia Morrow looks very smooth. She's out to a good start. There's still 4 more laps left in this race, so she has to be careful in pacing herself.
Laura Hoiveld in the yellow cap in lane 2 is dropping back, but Summer, that seems to be the way that she swam in the 100-yard breaststroke.
Exactly. She's a threat to this race no matter where she is, and Lydia needs to know that. Lydia's out strong, but Laura Hoiveld can come back. She has that power in her stroke.
But right now it is all Texas with Lydia Morrow in lane 3, Christy Busico in lane 4. Now this is a senior and a junior. How important is the team competition to them right now?
Exactly, that's exactly what they're thinking. Their teammates on the side are giving them energy. Right now they're very tired, but they know they have to do it for their team. It's Florida and Texas, and it's coming down to the end. There's not many races left, and they know this is very important.
Lydia Morrow has led throughout this race, and she is hanging on to the lead in the last 50 yards.
But as you can see, there's Laura Hoiveld coming up. She's caught Kendra Thayer in lane 1, and she's passed Christy Busico only in a half a lap. She needs to gain a lot of ground on this one. Christy Busico needs to get back up there. She seems to be losing a little bit here.
And here comes Laura Hoiveld once again. She is coming from behind.
She has so much power and energy here at the end.
It's Hoiveld to the wall. First, an unbelievable finish. Laura Hoiveld 2 times at this NCAA championship meet with a come-from-behind victory. She beats Lydia Morrow to the wall.
Well, I thought the 100 freestyle was going to decide the NCAA Swimmer of the Year, but Laura Hoiveld is surprising everybody. You can see how much power Laura has in the end of her race. She has so much more momentum moving in towards the wall, and that's how she touches Lydia out. You know, Andrea, this has happened to me several times before, and you start to wonder, you know, you put so much energy into the middle of the race, you start to second-guess yourself towards the end.
So Texas picks up 2nd and 7th place points. Jill Sturkle seeing how it all adds up. Texas, of course, wanting more from Christy Busico, who finished 7th. It was a big win, though, for Laura Hoiveld, who is at the center of a resurging Michigan team. Lydia Morrow, with 2nd place, has pulled Texas a little closer to Florida. Let's go down to Greg Louganis with the winner.
Do you realize that you're a candidate for the Swimmer of the Year?
No, it wasn't something I was thinking about while I was racing. I just wanted to win, so, oh well, if I get that, that'll be lovely.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Great meet for Laura Hoiveld. Now here's Janie Wagstaff of Florida getting ready for the 200-yard butterfly. And Summer, she has not had a whole lot of rest.
No, she hasn't, and she has an enormous amount of pressure on her for a freshman. She really needs to come up big here for her team.
Janie, of course, swam earlier in the 200-yard backstroke. Janie Wagstaff in lane 5 on the right. Janelle Jorgensen in lane 4 with the best qualifying time.
Take your mark.
Now in the 200 butterfly, you want to make sure that you go out smooth and in control. If you go out too fast, you have a tendency to die at the end.
Summer's too modest to tell us that she set the NCAA meet record in this event last year.
Janelle Jorgensen looks good, but she's known for her sprinting, so she's going to be out fast. And I question whether she's going out a little bit too fast. Janie Wagstaff is also in good position. She's 2nd right now in the blue cap, right next to Janelle.
Jorgensen to the wall first.
Janelle in lane 4 won this event her freshman year, and I kind of think she's coming back for a little bit of revenge here, Andrea. She didn't win it last year or her sophomore year, so I think she's looking to go out as a winning senior.
It's Janelle Jorgensen with the lead for Stanford.
Janelle looks like she's starting to tighten up here a little bit, and this could be Janie's cue to make her move. Janie is actually gaining on Janelle. Janelle she's going to hold on to her knee, really needs to build up these last few laps, and it looks like she's tightening up quite a bit. I can understand what she's going through. I've been in this situation many times, and you really have to just dig down deep and go with your rhythm. Make it as easy and flowing as possible. Janelle is really tightening up now. We call this in swimming that she hit the wall. It's almost as if she just can't get beyond that. And Shady Wagstaff seems to be making her move. She's moving up very quickly.
Wagstaff right there in the blue cap.
Oh, you can see Janelle's hands are barely getting out of the water. This is Janie's chance to really catch up a lot of ground, and she is. Janie could have it if Janie just pushes here a little bit more.
But Janelle Jorgensen hangs on and beats Janie Wagstaff to the wall.
Janelle has to be very relieved right now. That was probably one of the hardest races in her college career. As you can see here, her entire back is tightening up, and that just makes it so difficult to get her arms out of the water. Janie Wagstaff is very tough at the end, but Janelle's just a little bit tougher.
I think Janie's coach, Mitch Ivey, thought she had it. Greg Louganis is down at poolside with Janie Wagstaff.
Looked a little rough at the start, but you came back strong. Where'd it come from?
Well, I've been really frustrated with my meet so far, and I knew that today would be a tough double, and I just wanted to show everybody how tough it was, and that even though I didn't swim that fast in my best events, I'm still here.
Still here indeed, with 18 points for her Florida team with that second place finish. The Gators still able to hold on to a slim lead over Texas. Coming up, Eileen Riccatelli goes after a double victory in the 10-meter platform diving. Welcome back to the NCAA Swimming and Diving Championships. Now, Stanford won this thing a long time ago, but Florida and Texas are going down to the wire for second place. Florida coach Mitch Ivey knew the 10-meter platform could be crucial to the team's standings, but with no divers in this event, the Gators were reduced to spectators. The pressure was on the three Texas divers, Robin Carter, Sherry Wigginton, and Terry Seipel. Seipel's second dive failed to score well. Stanford didn't need the points, but Eileen Riccatelli was in there fighting to defend her title. It was a tense, emotional competition for Texas, the Longhorns needing the points for a second-place team finish. A junior from Michigan, Cinnamon Woods, surprised the field, leading after 2 rounds. Despite a good dive by Robin Carter, it was a disappointing round for Texas. With the Florida Gators watching closely, the Longhorns appeared to falter and seemed unable to put themselves in good position going into the last round. Eileen Riccatelli, meanwhile, would try to mount her own charge on Cinnamon Woods. This is the final round of dives. No Texas divers at the top. Wigginton, Carter, and Seipel in 4th, 7th, and 8th. And that is making Coach Jill Sturkle plenty nervous. Here's Terry Seipel's final dive.
This is an inward 2.5 somersaults pike. She just leaves it short of vertical. She jumped her hips back away from the platform too much, and she wasn't able to complete the rotation.
42 on that dive for Terry Seipel. Up next, Eileen Riccatelli from Stanford.
A back 1.5 somersaults with 2.5 twists. Great dive. She ripped the entry. She had a nice jump, and she was able to line up and rip the entry, and that's what she's going to need to do to take the lead.
And that is a good score for Eileen Riccatelli on her final dive.
Here we see she gets a strong jump. Her shoulders are very square, and she's able to square out, look at the water, and rip.
Eileen Riccatelli obviously pleased with that dive. Cinnamon Woods of Michigan will now try to hang on to her lead.
This is the same dive that Eileen did. Oh, just beyond vertical. She started leaning from the start and she got too much rotation, couldn't control it.
And that is not good enough. Eileen Riccatelli will move into first place, push Cinnamon Woods down to second.
I think she knows it too.
Let's take another look at Cinnamon Woods' dive.
She leans back. She's too far away from the platform. It causes a swingy rotation, so you can't control the finish.
A disappointed Cinnamon Woods, and up now for Texas, Robin Carter.
Robin Carter's doing the exact same dive. Nice dive, not a great dive. She had her head down on the finish, which caused her to go beyond vertical.
Robin Carter with a 51.80 on that last dive. Up now from SMU, Cheryl Santini.
Cheryl's doing a reverse 2.5 somersaults tuck. Nice jump, but she just didn't line it up on the finish. Sherry Wigginton is doing a back 1.5 with 3.5 twists, one of the more difficult dives being done in this competition. Oh, she leaves it just a little bit short of vertical. I would have liked to have seen a little stronger jump at the beginning of the dive so she could be able to line it up and rip it.
40 on that last dive, and that has got to be disappointing for Texas. A big outing, though, for Eileen Riccatelli as she gets congratulations from Richard Quick. The second year in a row she wins the 3-meter and 10-meter platform competitions.
It shows you how tough she really is to come from behind and defend yet another title. When everyone is gunning for you, I know how difficult that can be.
So it's Eileen Riccatelli at the top, followed by Cinnamon Woods. Texas took 5th, 7th, and 8th. Not the best, but valuable points as they continue to try and catch Florida in the team standings. Now, still one race to go. This one will decide it. It's the 400-yard freestyle relay coming up. In this crucial 400-yard freestyle relay, Whitney Hedgepeth will swim the anchor leg for Texas, and she will be swimming against Nicole Hazlett of Florida. Both of these teams aiming for a second-place team finish. There you see the big three, Stanford, Texas, and Florida in lanes 4, 5, and 6. Mary Edwards in the pool for Stanford in lane 4, Indira Alec for Texas, and Laura Booth is in for Florida.
There's a lot of strategy that goes on when the coaches are trying to determine who's going to swim what order for their relays. Most times the coaches want to have their strongest, most experienced swimmer at the end, and oftentimes they want to lead off with a fast swimmer to get their team out in front, get them psyched up. The real energy, though, is going to come between Texas and Florida. You know, they're competing for second place, Andrea, and they have a lot at stake here, a lot more than Stanford does in lane 4.
Do you get the sense that they might be watching each other more closely than they would be watching Stanford?
Exactly. I think that, you know, that they're not so much concerned with winning it as you know, beating Texas. Florida wants to beat Texas, Texas wants to beat Florida, and whether they get first or second, it doesn't really matter.
In the pool now for Stanford, Lee Lovelace, Barbara Bedford in for Texas, and Vicky Stemper in for Florida.
Florida is in a very good position right now. As you can see, you can't see Texas on the screen. So Texas doesn't really have the advantage of leading off of Vicky Stemper's wake. They're kind of in behind, and they're concentrated on catching up. That's not really the position they want to be in.
Florida in the blue cap in the lead. That's Stanford in lane 4 in second place.
Lee Lovelace is doing a very good job of catching up to Vicky Stemper. Texas really needs to get into it if they want to have a battle between Florida for their second place position.
We are now in the third leg of this 400-yard freestyle race. In the pool for Stanford is Janelle Jorgensen, Andrea Fisher for Texas, and Florida has Melanie Morgan in lane 6.
You know, Janelle Jorgensen just got out of her tough 200 fly race, but when it comes down to this portion of the meet, Andrea, you don't really go on the energy you have because you're so tired. It's all on the mental energy that you're getting from your teammates on the side and your determination to place as high as you can for your team.
Sleep well the night after a meet, huh?
Exactly, exactly. Janelle's giving it everything she has here on the last lap of her leg. And then we're off to the anchor leg, and it's really going to get very, very tough.
Stanford won this event last year. Texas came in second, and Florida came in third, further illustrating the domination of the big three that we've been talking about throughout this meet.
And again, like we were talking about before, here's Jenny Thompson, Nicole Hazlett. They always seem to be racing against each other, and in high-pressure situations like this. You can see they're giving it everything they have here at the end, but Nicole looks in control of this race. Jenny Thompson is tough, though, so Nicole knows she can't back off at all at the end.
Nicole Hazlett in lane 6 for Florida. That's Jenny Thompson in lane 4 in the white cap for Stanford. Out of the picture right now is Texas. No holding back from Nicole Hazlett. She wins it for Florida. Stanford comes in second. A very happy Florida relay team, the Gators, with the first place finish in the relay, followed by Stanford and Texas. So the Stanford Cardinal wins the big prize in the team competition. The Gators take second, though, and they're downstairs with Greg Louganis.
Looked like war out there between you and Texas.
Yeah, it's been really close, and we were kind of nervous with the divers, but we pulled it out. That's all we wanted.
Everyone swam really hard tonight.
Yeah. Too bad we had to wait till the last relay to win, though.
And there are your 1993 champions, the Stanford Cardinal. Once again, congratulations to Stanford winning their second straight NCAA swimming and diving championship, and to Michigan's Laura Hoiveld, the Swimmer of the Year. For Summer Sanders and Greg Louganis, I'm Andrea Joyce saying so long from Minnesota.